Okay, it's day 111, part 3. First of all, Chef Tuan, the word chef and then Tuan. There's some folks that thought that I made up the Google Translate, so I posted the actual result of Google Translate from yesterday of Urdu taking Chef Tuan to English. Fourth, Fourth. So I didn't make it. I didn't really go into the Urdu dictionary and make that happen, or I didn't hack into Google Translate, believe it. I actually just typed the word in and just hit the translate button. But you can try it for yourself. Go to Google Translate and do it yourself. Who would be the fourth? As I said, I think Schumer was the first, 98. I think it went over to Wexler, and that's when Imran came in. Then I think it went over to Rahm Emanuel, and then I think it was Anthony Weiner. And now I think it's Adam Schiff is now the spy master in Congress, so he's fifth. But we'll see. But what's critical is that Chef Tuan email and when they use it. They use it for when Hillary's coming to Rayburn. Hillary's coming to Rayburn. Or when they're talking about the nuclear deal where Duke Energy buys this Progress Energy. Those are the two key times they use it. Maybe they use it other times, but those are two key times they use it. And there's a murder involved as well. So now what do we know about the Rayburn office building? We know that seems to be where all the disk drives are for all the servers, these external servers that the Awans have. We know the Awans have a 123 email Dropbox. Could it be that the 123 email Dropbox from those talks were going in about the time of the UAE agreement, were going into the Dropbox there? They would have all, if Hillary had a thumb drive, she could go through all of the information that was being accumulated in the Congress, all the different reports that were being considered, all the different people that were going to be voting on the 123. Maybe, who knows? But the key is they use that Chef Tuan, because remember, Anthony Weiner has two other emails. He's got Anthony Roberts. He's also got anthony.weiner@mail.house.gov as well. But then he's also got Barnett, Anthony Barnett. So he's got a lot of different emails going on. That's usually a good sign that something's going on. And he uses the Chef Tuan when he wants spying done. Now, some people said Tuan is a shortened form in Dutch for Anthony. Okay, Tuan. Fair enough. So he's the Chef Anthony. He's cooking up maybe a deal. Maybe he's cooking up a surveillance package that the Awans can target. But he is the guy running the Awans. You're going to see this is going to be coming out. I'm going to be serving him with substituted service here pretty quickly, like I did Imran. And when it comes out that Chef Tuan is in the 123 Dropbox, or is copied on the 123 Dropbox, I think hopefully everyone will, subside in their doubts here. But the key is the nuclear fuel cycle. You've had your nuclear boots on now for almost 20 years. When Bob Highly Enriched Mueller comes in 98, that's when you start with the U.S. Enrichment Corps, right? That's when you start getting this highly enriched uranium. That's when you decide to make rods out of it at Nuclear Fuel Services instead of downblending it and making it into pennies. You want to keep those gold coins instead of turning them into pennies or nickels as nuclear fuel. You decide to make fuel rods at Nuclear Fuel Services instead. Get it? That's diversion. I'm going to call that nuclear diversion. When you are doing nuclear diversion, you're getting your nuclear boots on. When you get your nuclear boots on to say the cars, you're putting the CANDU, nuclear fuel in the trunk and sending it to West Africa, to UAE, to drive it over to UAE for their reactors, or wherever those reactors are. If Libya, you're doing putting reactors in Libya or wherever they're going, the fuel rods are 7 inches long. They can put a whole bunch of those in the back. You don't have the 15-foot long fuel rods that they had for the reactors. The CANDU reactor, that's why the CANDU reactor is so important in this. It enables this kind of commerce where you can use a bunch of cars. That's why the Cars song, nuclear boots, drip dry gloves, you need the gloves for handling nuclear, and you need to put those boots on. Remember Jimmy Carter with the 3 Mile Island spill? They're into this 20 years. They're into the nuclear boots with the drip dry gloves 20 years now. They've got to find a place for those spent nuclear fuel rods. If you're selling these things, if you're making nuclear fuel rods at Nuclear Fuel Services in Irwin, Tennessee, and selling it all over the world to all these navies all over the world, you're not only for submarines but also for ships. Then you're doing these small reactors from the Livermore labs, the research reactors. You're doing all those for programs all over the world. You're going to end up with these spent fuel rods. Now, what are you going to do? Just leave them out in these trunks all over the world? No, you're going to bring them back to South Carolina. That's why they signed a contract. That's why Transport Logistics signed a contract. And where are you going to take them? You're going to take them to a place that accepts nuclear fuel rods. That place is called Sharon Harris. Sharon Harris Nuclear Facility accepts those rods. It's in the middle. I think it's in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's in the middle of North Carolina, or I've been to Raleigh once or twice, a little bit more to the east. That's Sharon Harris, was owned by Progress Energy. That's the last piece of the puzzle in your game. The last piece of the puzzle in your game with your nuclear boots on is Sharon Harris. You got to find a place for those spent rods to go, because you might be able to remox those and use them for reactors or something else down the road. You got to put them in a secure area. That is why it was so important. That was the last piece of the puzzle in Uranium One. That's why it was so important for Hillary and Duke Energy to get Progress Energy, Sharon Harris.